Did you know Emperor Nero had large groups of Christians dipped in oil and set on fire? He placed them in his garden and used the fire as a spectacle to be celebrated and a source of light during night times.
Crazy. Maniac. Maniac. What possessed him to do that?
Anyway, we're going to get into that. But first, we're going to start with our question of the day.
Question of the day. You're on a game show. Your team has racked up £5,000 so far and you have reached the final round. The game show host offers you two options. You can flip a coin for £1 million cash, no taxes, no strings attached. And if you lose, you leave with the 5,000. Alternatively, you can gamble the £5,000 on a roll of a pair of dice. And if you win, you walk away with 10 million. The catch, if either die comes up with a number 3, you walk away with nothing. Nothing. You walk away with whatever you got in your pocket, whatever you had from your job, that's all you got. So, what do you do? What do you do? Yeah, no, legit. What do you do?
I mean, I like the idea of a guaranteed £5,000. But when you're splitting it between 4 people,
it doesn't go a long way. Yeah.
£1,000, $250.
It ain't going a long way. That's wages. That's a month's wages.
For who?
That's not going a long way. Yeah, and you're looking at the 10 mil. You know they always have it in the suitcases on the stand.
And even if you look, let's say you lose, and you go home with your £1,000. Are you not going to be thinking, but what if I rolled them die?
Literally, when taxman take the wallet that £1,000 as well.
What if I just look?
What if the next guy rolls the dice wins 10 million?
Not many people have a chance to win instantly a $10 million check. You know that or them odds are much better than a lottery.
Much better, astronomically better. Lottery odds ain't good.
Me, I would. But what if you're with your girl? She says, "No, take the money. Take the £5,000."
Yeah, nah, I can't.
Get off me.
Literally, unhandled harlot. She ain't gonna be complaining if you win that 10 milli.
I would rather, because remember, you're not.
Go down fighting.
Remember, you're not betting £5,000. You're actually betting 1,250 because that's all you're gonna get.
You're looking at the £5,000 thing, and it's 5 in my pocket. It's not.
It's not 5.
That's true. You know, that is actually true. And the thing is, you always are gonna be thinking, "What if I had to roll it?" This way, you're gonna find out. Find out one way.
I think you could roll a die and not land on 2 die. I think that's not that hard.
Well, if you roll 2 threes,
you might as well. If you're gonna roll a 3, roll 2.
Roll 2 threes. Yeah, 100%.
Don't just roll a 5. What if you don't roll a 5 and then roll a 2 and then it falls on the 3? I'm flipping.
Yeah, nah, switch. I'm taking the money. Literally, I'm taking the money.
I think I've cracked it.
Yeah, I think you have to
go for the big.
You have to go for the big belly, 100%.
But yeah, pause this video right now. Go and read Nero by
Conn Iggulden, and when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you don't have to read it because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Icha Library.
Or you can watch the video anyway because we're going to tell you all about it. That's it. Okay, so we start the story.
Hold on, let me do the blurb. I forgot.
Man's
jumping the gun, you know. Brimming with intrigue, danger, and ruthless power games, the first installment in a new trilogy from Iggulden's masterful pen revolves around Empress Agrippina's ambitious project of turning her son Nero into the ruler of all Rome. Tyrants aren't born, they're raised. Elijah.
I was going to just say that. So we start the story just after Emperor Tiberius' son had been assassinated. Tiberius found out that his longtime friend Sejanus had something to do with it. He had him killed.
Immediately.
And his wife.
Oh.
And his children.
Yeah.
And his extended family. Mm-hmm. And any associates.
And
anybody that's ever had a good word to say about him ever.
He exterminated this guy.
That is the definition of overkill.
Yeah, come on.
That's
overkill.
That is man said anybody that's had a good word to say about him ever.
He said his neighbours, everybody. They
rounded the neighbours up too.
They rounded up everybody they could find. Everybody. He said, so, Sejanus, the guy from that. Get him, man. Like, get him.
Come with us.
Get him. Yeah, come with us.
These man had too much power.
Carte blanche to do as you wish. Listen,
blanche,
because you know what it was?
Carte blanche. It's French, isn't it?
Yeah, carte blanche.
Creative control.
Yeah, carte blanche. So you literally, what it was is the Julia Claudian dynasty, which is 5 emperors. So what was it? Caligula, Tiberius, Augustus, Nero, and I forgot the 5th one. They were descended believed to be descended from Julius Caesar was believed to be descended from the gods. So Julius Caesar's bloodline was literally deified. So that is why these men had unlimited power. Roman emperors had unlimited power to do as you wish. Literally, Caligula, in the book, Caligula, one of his guards put a hand on Caligula to save his life because there was a chariot coming by. And he grabbed him back and he said he saved his life. And Caligula turned to him and he literally said, "You blaspheme, I'm your emperor." And he had him killed. He said, "I had him impaled."
Had him killed.
Impaled, not killed, impaled.
You cannot touch. He
said, "You may not." He said, "He's deaf to lay a hand on your emperor without his..." What? He said he got...
He said, "You've done the right thing.
Literally.
Come here."
Literally, you will have an honourable death. It's ridiculous, the level of power that they had, which is why England had to bring in Magna Carta and things like that to curb up, kings' power, because dictators had unlimited power. They literally had unlimited power to do as you wish. They said they could ignore laws. They could invent new laws on the spot.
Yeah.
They said Caligula wanted to make his horse consul of the Senate or whatever. And bro, it's just ridiculous how much power that they had. But this Tiberius guy, he literally said, everybody was ever said, and if you sang happy birthday to this guy one day, you're finished.
Bloody hell. If you dated him...
Oh, God,
done.
You're over. In the ancient Roman Republic, a Roman soldier called Barbo must do his duty. After fraternising with the wife of a senator, following the detached demeanour of his own wife, Agrippina, Barbo is declared outside the law by the emperor's voice, the powerful Sejanus. If he answers the summons and rides back to Rome, he will surely be painfully executed. If he runs south, he may live, but he will be without honour, as he leaves his wife and unborn child to Sejanus' mercy. I said, this would make a pretty good question of the day, innit, Elijah?
Well, I didn't understand that. That was Aquafina's...
Yes, Agrippina's husband.
Yeah.
In the beginning, he was some old soldier. And
so that was a new one. So then she got it. Did it time
exactly.
skip?
Then he pulled up to Rome, and that's when he saw Sejanus getting murdered. As he pulls up to Rome, he literally was about to go to Rome, do his duty, protect his wife, protect his child. He got there. Emperor is there. The emperor's not even supposed to be in Rome because the emperor was relaxing off in different climates or whatever. And then they pull up to Rome. And then the emperor's there, and he's like, "Yes, Sejanus is getting executed because I know what he's been up to. Basically, he's been abusing his power, gunning for my power, gunning for my seat." And then what do? They cut his throat and flung him down the steps or whatever. And then Barbo just pulled up and he said, "Well, I guess I've been declared, isn't it?" And he said that was the guy that was about to. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but what would you do in a situation? So you're at home and you have to go, ride into the city to your death, or leave your wife and child and just be like, whatever happens to you guys.
What's the point? What's the point of going to your death? That don't make no sense.
They could still die. They could literally still.
That don't make no sense.
Bearing in mind how Tiberius did this guy Sejanus, they probably still would have died anyways.
Yeah. So on Emperor Tiberius's deathbed, he named Gaius Caligula to be his successor, along with another young boy called Gemellus. They were to share the throne equally. Gaius didn't like that. Not one bit. So what do you think he did? Of course, he mounted an expedition to retrieve Gemellus to put him on the throne. Of course he didn't. They found him, stormed off the ship and slit his throat.
Of course.
And it was actually quite a good scene, to be honest, because Gemellus saw them coming and knew what was up. I mean, an emperor pulling up on you with an armed cavalry is never a good thing.
Yeah, you don't.
You know the man's dressed up in battle gear. He weren't in no tunics.
Yeah, of course not. Silver. You see the steel.
It wasn't made clear, but I think Gaius and Gemellus grew up together or something, because Gaius didn't really want to kill him, but it was more of a case of he had to. He told his guards to do it quickly and painlessly. Give him peace, on my order. And it was quite a sobering moment, because Gemellus actually said thank you to Gaius for his mercy, which is quite something.
Yeah,
so
quite something.
That scene was quite good on the book.
It is good scene, and that bit you reference is good because it means there's people in ancient Rome that understand there are things worse than simple death. You could they're putting guys to torture, they're genuinely coming up with inventive ways to kill people that hurt as much as possible. We're talking about impaling. Do you know how serious that is? Yes, whichever way.
I think it's that one.
No, it's this one. They want you to be alive till the last. Even crucifixion. Crucifixion is way worse than people think it is, or the perception of it is. It's not just nail on a cross. It's first of all, you're bleeding out. That's one thing. You're bleeding out because they've literally put it in your veins. Obviously, it's not in your hands, in your veins. The second part is when your body gets too heavy to support, your arms just break because you're hanging by your arms. Your arms literally just break, and your bones just break, and you bleed out and die, and you're conscious for basically all of it. And it's just bad, man. It's bad. Ancient Rome was a ruthless place. So in the book, there was a statesman called Sejanus who had also been one of the Praetorian Guard, the Emperor's protectors, which I think that was the inspiration for the King's Guard in Game of Thrones, by the way. Anyway, Sejanus was also the Emperor's voice in Rome as the Emperor was sick. Sejanus began using his power to slowly steal power from the throne, even going so far as to conspire to murder the Emperor's son, gradually remove his rivals from consideration. He did this by threatening the Emperor's son's wife to feed him poison. So Barbo, the old soldier from the first chapter, was to be put to death by Sejanus until he arrived in the capital to find that the Emperor had returned and had sentenced Sejanus to death for all his crimes.
So why did Sejanus want to kill Barbo?
Because Barbo basically struck some senator's wife, and it was like, he was an adulterer. He's an adulterer. And Sejanus was there, so we're not about that around here. And you're right. And like the other senator must have complained. You're like, get him. Do you know what I mean? But then the Emperor pulled up and he said, "Bow."
Yeah.
You're done. Later, the prefect of the Praetorian Guard brings the Emperor's son's wife, Livia, before the Emperor, and she confesses her guilt. Obviously, she poisoned her husband, who's his son. She really shouldn't have admitted that, to be fair. She hasn't been paying attention. Tiberius listened patiently while she was confessing. He literally sat there, listened. And then at the end, he said, "I did not know Livia. If you had kept silent, I might never have known." Then he turned back to his prefect and he had thumb down. He said, "Put Sejanus' wife and children to death. His friends too. Anybody who ever had reason to thank or love him." That is insane. He put out a hit order on everybody. So Emperor Tiberius avenged his son's death not only by executing the mastermind of his murder, but by also sending to the afterlife his wife, his children, his neighbours, his friends and family, anybody who had ever known him that Roman soldiers could find or round up. And they just execute every single one of them. And that is a normal day in ancient Rome. Ruthless place. Ruthless place.
I don't know what it is, and I don't know if I'm just biased, but I don't know if the writing is just amazing, but I'm really enjoying this story. I feel an eagerness to get through the book. So I definitely really enjoyed the book overall. I've got, some conflicting opinions about it, but overall I thought it was good. I didn't even check how much notes you got,
No, I didn't either. I got most of my... Oh, I got a big one there.
Got enough?
Yeah.
Fair enough, it's your turn anyway.
Alright,
You might have more than
the scene where Agrippina gives birth to the infant Emperor Nero, I don't know if you remember that scene, but I winced in that scene, where she was giving birth to her baby, or Lucius. Lucius was his name, because Lucius, I don't know if you guys know, there's a character in the book called Lucius, that's Agrippina's son, Agrippina and Barbo's son, and he was named Lucius at birth, but that is, as we know, Emperor Nero.
Yeah.
He was born Lucius, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the scene where she gives birth is really descriptive. Not even necessarily the actual birthing part, but the midwife had to bite through the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, Jesus Christ. Imagine you're the midwife, that's your job. And you're getting paid like what? A few silver dragons or whatever they had.
No, they were rich though, so they were probably getting
the midwife, they must have, I hope so. And then they had to stitch up her torn vagina with no anaesthetic. Jesus Christ.
As I said, big respect.
Big respect.
Because I could never
ever in my life.
I would never. I feel like it's a bit lava to say, but I couldn't deal with that if I was a woman.
Nah, it's not. It's not for me. It's even more harrowing when you know the history books. Nero plotted his own mother's murder as a grown man. Literally, this baby that she's pushing out of her is going to kill her. Imagine to go through all of that only to have the nut that you busted one day bust you. These kinds of scenes make me glad to be a man. No periods, no pregnancy, peace, standing up, we're living. We're living. That's it.
No BBCs.
We're living. We're living. We're living.
It's funny you say that because it brings us on to Emperor Gaius's wife's pregnancy.
Yeah, Caligula's wife.
Caligula's wife. So I said, okay, I do think the ancient childbirth scene is probably played out now, but it still hits just as hard. I've paused the book to gather my thoughts. Right now, Gaius has been told by the midwife that the baby's coming out feet first, and that's a big problem. She said the baby won't make it unless I cut her vagina open, but the woman will die. Or I can save your wife, but I'll have to take the baby out in pieces. That's what she said to the man. That's what she said to the emperor.
Literally.
Joseph, what are you doing?
You know what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
You know what I'm doing. Save the woman, bro.
Save the woman.
Save the wife. Save the wife. This is what they said to him. They said, you can have another child. Like, they said, the chances of this baby surviving is, well, look, the chances of any newborn baby surviving are back then, like, come on, that wasn't a sanitized birthing suite. We know. There was no antiseptic or nothing. They was doing that
But
in
that's
the
natural.
street.
Babies, that's how.
And you
mammals
know what
are
else is
supposed to be
natural?
born.
Death from disease and infection. That's also natural. So I would have just said, do what you need to do, save the woman. We can have
Take it
another
out
baby.
in pieces.
Do what you need to do, save the woman, is what it is.
Wow.
But from this scene began, I already knew what was going to happen because there's only one way these scenes can end. They have, like, remember House of the Dragon?
Yeah.
There's only one way these scenes can end, to be fair. They need to do it for the shock factor. They need to.
So my opinion depends on whether I'm Elijah or I'm the Emperor.
Yeah.
Because if I'm the Emperor, I could replace that bitch before her body's cold.
You can replace, because the thing is,
Before her
I
body's
even said she would have been. Listen, what you mean? I got 2 more. In fact, you know what? They even said, "Sire, you can, Majesty, you can have another baby. You can have another wife as well." You're talking about like
No,
what we discussing?
because he needs an heir. He needs an heir,
Yeah.
right? And just so distracted. He needs an heir, and if he has an heir from this marriage, then that heir, that's the done deal. But if he doesn't have an heir, then that's a problem. So he can have another child, wait another 9 months, and get a girl. That means he's got to wait another 2 years, and he doesn't know. Emperors are dying like flies.
Yeah,
So
he
needs
lasted
something.
4
He
years.
needs something now.
He only lasted 4 years.
So,
legit.
so the woman back then is just a vessel, and even in House
It's
of
calm
Dragon,
because
the woman's
they
just a
could
vessel.
adopt. That's how this guy came into power. He got adopted, literally. They used to do it all the time. So
Yeah.
it's not really that big of a
Yeah,
deal.
but the
I
woman's
understand
not
they probably
the woman's
want,
not that big of a deal.
they probably only want their. I mean, a woman's only big of a deal as big of a deal as a human life is. However
that's
big of a
nothing.
deal. However,
Well, that's nothing.
However big of a
realistically.
deal that is to them, that's how big of a deal the woman is.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So if he cares at all, then he would save her. If he doesn't care, then he doesn't care. It is what it is. But I personally think it makes the most sense. The woman's got the highest chance of surviving anyway.
Did she?
No, because they wait too long, like they said.
Apparently they waited too
Apparently
long.
they waited too
We don't actually know. But basically, what Gaius Caligula said, he said, push the baby back in.
Yeah, he literally
And
said push
they
it back
pushed
in.
the
And then she
back
said, no, do you know what he said before that? She literally said, I could save your son or I could save your wife's side. I can't save both of them. He said, save them both or join them. That's the coldest thing I've heard someone say. He said, save them both. He said, you do not know what you can do with the proper motivation. Save them both or join them.
I don't know why the baby died though, because she was ruptured inside and whatnot. But they should have just cut her open.
Yeah, it suffocated, I think, because it was already not breathing. Like when it was on the way out, it was already
Yeah,
struggling
but
to breathe.
babies don't breathe until they hit the atmosphere, or until you cut the because they get their oxygen from the.
I don't know that.
I don't know. We're not
We're
midwives.
doctors. We're not
You're a
midwives,
wife, but you're not a midwife.
You're a housewife, but not a midwife.
You're a bitch.
Just go straight to it. Cut to the chase. Cut to the chase. Legit. Stop the camera. Cut to commercial. Yeah, so with Sejanus' death, Barbara thinks he's off the hook for the crime of adultery. I don't know how you missed this point, by the way. But it turns out that the senator, whose wife he slept with, has petitioned the emperor to plead his case, Emperor Tiberius. So this guy thought he was off the hook. He literally got to the capital, saw Sejanus being executed. He said, oh my god, I'm off the hook. I'm going home. He goes home now. He goes home now, starts drinking with his wife, talking about, my victory. And she was even like, it wasn't a victory. But then he hears that the senator has gone to the emperor now, has gone one up from Sejanus and said sort this out, because the last guy said he was going to sort this out and you killed him, so you need to sort this out.
Yeah, but Gaius is Aquafina's brother as well.
But the funniest thing is he was missing. He was missing. Nobody knew where he was. And then apparently he got adopted by Emperor Tiberius or whatever it was. He's just there. So
no, but what I'm saying is he's definitely gonna sort it out. But Gaius is definitely gonna sort it out because that's his sister, and her sister's husband is cheating. So he's definitely gonna do something about it. So Barbara's finished.
Oh yeah, he was finished. To be fair, he was finished, but they didn't even really know he was even in there. They didn't even know he was there. If found guilty, he will be in the same boat as before. Agrippina's brother has been adopted by the emperor as the heir, Gaius Augustus Caesar or Caligula. She goes to him to beg a favour for her husband. Caligula must have been like, brother, why are you here asking me for this guy that cheated on you? Are you okay? Caligula, however, has his own plans for the empire. He radicalizes Navius Macro, the head of the emperor's Praetorian Guard, and one night they sneak into the emperor's chambers and smother him to death with blankets, which is actually, I don't know if it's historical fact. Yeah. So it's Caligula and the guards. I don't know if it's actual fact, but it's definitely well documented that it is a theory about how Caligula came to power. They smothered the previous emperor to death with pillows. But it's very Roman way, to be fair. Romans take power by any means necessary. It's how they gained everything that they have. So it's the way that they started is the way that they continue, so to speak. Sith Lords, you know? You must supplant the previous. You don't wait for the throne. Yeah, go on.
Shock factor. Aquafina's husband died in a random accident.
Yeah.
Did you know about that? Is that fictional? Is that fact?
I don't know if it's fact or not.
But it surprised me the way they just
I know he
randomly
died. I know he definitely died.
They randomly killed him off. I didn't see that coming. I didn't know which way the story was going, but I didn't expect that. And why am I sensing this is going to turn into an incestuous story? You know, the emperor's wife's dead, his sister's husband dead. Things are about to get saucy. Because didn't you see, Aquafina went to beg her husband, Gaius, the emperor, and he started
moving mad.
I think he touched the ring,
bro,
and she was like, "Oh, I've just had a baby, by the way." So like,
a bit sore.
Yeah, she was like, I'm trying to
shore up her. You know, she was trying to like.
Even her husband was like,
what did he do to you?
Even her husband was like, he didn't fuck you, did he?
Yeah,
like,
no, legit.
She was like, make sure you don't do that when you go down there.
Yeah, no, for real. And the fact that he has to say that, and that's her brother. But what's crazy, he even said, he was like, you're proposing an exchange then. I save your husband and you do whatever I want. That's what he said to her. She was like, well, you know, I don't know. Seems like
I'll do my duty.
Do you know what I'm saying? Seems like you're suggesting, like, it's crazy. Like, ancient Rome's different place.
I don't know why the writer didn't play on that a bit more, or give us what we wanted.
What do you mean exactly? Just go where you're leading us and stop playing about.
What was that about? Like,
you know,
and it was never touched on again as well.
Yeah, literally.
It was never touched on again.
So, it was touched on
a little bit.
Claudius, when he like lips her up.
Claudius, yeah, but that's an uncle. Don't count. Uncles do that sort of thing all the time.
Man said it don't count. Yeah, nah, it was techie though. But this ancient Rome, like they called everybody else savages, but this is what they was doing. Yeah. But compared to everybody else, they were civilized because they said everybody else is like painting themselves up and whatever they was doing. Now Caligula is emperor. He goes to the imperial senate and lays out all his grand plans for the future of the empire. We will build roads, and we will build fountains, and we will have games. And he was like just telling them all the things that he thought they was going to do. And at that moment, Caligula's wife goes into labour. He sprints out the senate, runs all the way down to the birthing suite. When he arrives, however, the midwife tells him that there's been a complication. The child has exited the uterus feet first and is suffocating. The midwife tells Caligula that they may be able to save the child or the mother, but not both. So that's the decision that 25-year-old Caligula has to make. His son, his heir, or his wife. The midwife tells him, Majesty, cut the baby out and save your wife. You can have another. Caligula is probably thinking, well, I can have another wife too. So, you know. In the end, he instructs the midwife to save the wife. She pulls out a knife and cuts the baby up into pieces. Cuts up the legs, you know, cuts up the torso, removes it in pieces. Removes it from the uterus, but they waited too long. Caligula's wife, Claudilla, dies on the birthing table from blood loss, with both her father and her husband there to see it. Afterward, Caligula takes the knife and slits her father's throat, whispering, when you see your daughter, tell her that all that is good died in her. All that is good in me died with her. Why did he do that?
He cut the dad's throat.
Yeah, you don't remember that. Why did he do that? He cut the dad's throat over his dead daughter's body. And said, when you see your daughter in the afterlife, tell her that everything that was good in me died with her. Why did he do that?
Man decided
he's just a psycho.
Menace.
He literally, from that moment,
look,
he said,
I'm entering
my villain
seeing
arc.
things like that was obviously going to change you as a person. We can't... You know, I just realised the window's not closed. No. That's going to kill us.
Yeah, I know, right? He literally said, remember.
But yeah, so... yes, things like that... It changes you as a person. So,
it definitely changes you as a person. And it was interesting insight into how Caligula gained his madness, because Caligula was famously Rome's crazy emperor. In an era of crazy emperors, he was the craziest crazy emperor. This guy tried to wage a war on Poseidon. He ordered his troops to go into the sea and stab your swords and spears into the water because Poseidon has offended me.
Yeah, and even you could see, what did Aquafina say? It's not the same brother that I grew up with.
Like, she even said,
scared of him.
She said Gaius can be sweet and generous sometimes. She said Caligula, you do not want to mess with.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, Harvey Dent, he's two-faced.
So, are men just stupid, or can we not help thinking with our cocks? We all know that Gaius is a psycho, capable of extreme brutality. But we've got one of his king's guard flirting with his sister. The emperor's sister. Is that copperhead man out of his mind? I wouldn't even look her in the eye.
Listen,
Much less flirting.
down,
Am I
man.
crazy or something?
Nah, you're
I can't
definitely not
remember his
crazy.
name. What's the guy's name?
Italus.
Italus.
The centurion who was flirting with Agrippina, who's this emperor's sister, who's like, listen, this is the craziest of all crazy emperors. You want to be as far away from this guy as possible,
Exactly.
as humanly possible,
And you want to marry her.
Definitely don't want to be related to him because now you're on his radar. Do you know? Like you just want to stay off his radar for whatever reason.
All it takes is for her to go complain. No, it's off.
That's it.
Off.
That's it.
It's
ridiculous. It's off. Your head, by the way, is what's going to be off. And if you're lucky, because this guy, he was doing all sorts of madness in his 4-year reign. Like he would just take his senators' wives. Like he would just invite them to dinner and just be like to say, I'm taking your wife upstairs after this. And like you just see the guards behind you with their hands on their swords. You can't do shit. That's the emperor. He's your god. He's not your king. He's your god.
You know that car ride home?
Oh god.
Fuming.
Literally, she's limping to the car. You understand like this? You understand like this?
You can't even.
So what should we have for dinner today, baby? Like, no, it's done. It's done. That relationship is not.
You know,
the
she
same.
comes down biting her lip, like.
Don't get in the car. I just drive off. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. I must find a new wife. That's it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
No, there's no
it's
way.
not her fault, but it's done.
Listen, it's not your fault that you're no longer my wife, but you are no longer my wife.
You go back in there, you can't feel shit no
Oh
more.
my god.
Man,
Throw the sausage up an alleyway.
My man demolished the goods.
Demolished it. Literally ridiculous. And the funniest thing is
Bitney come out and it looked like...
Listen, oh my god. Caligula literally said, I'm taking your wife upstairs after this. Like, you wait down here.
That's
You're not here when I come back.
That's horrible.
Yo.
No, you know what? Furthermore, stand outside the room.
Oh my god. Furthermore, stand inside. Watch. Tell me my game is good. Listen.
Tell me what she likes.
Unlimited power.
Tell me what she likes.
Unlimited power.
Mad.
Palpatine, unlimited.
I'd have to get...
You gotta get your lick back. You can't go out like that. Listen, look, he could just pull up and kill you one day anyways, which he did to that guy. He poisoned him anyways. Remember that guy that he invited to dinner? He poisoned him anyways and still took his wife. So listen, just get your lick back. Make sure. Because these guys have too much power. These Joffreys, they can't fight.
I ain't
you
going
can batter
nowhere
them.
near emperors.
There's no chance. There's no advantage. There's no benefit. Just don't do it. Stay off their radar. Especially the crazy ones. This guy, this Italus, he asked for it.
So anyway, Aquafina ends up getting exiled by her brother, the emperor. Why? Simply because she has a son. That's literally the only reason. If guys were to die, he doesn't have an heir. Aquafina's son would be heir. That was motive enough, according to Emperor Gaius Caligula. He actually thought about killing her, his own sister, but he decided, maybe that's a bit extreme.
He said, I'll chill out today.
Yeah.
He said, I have every day to be a dickhead. Let me take today off, is basically
So
what he said. So exile, which is still very, very harsh due to your own flesh and blood, to be fair, because they had a son.
But he when you're in power, I assume you're paranoid about everybody wanting to take your power.
Oh, yeah, you have to be.
And this is the thing. When you're in power, everybody wants to please you. So that means they're doing what they want you to do, which means you don't know their true thoughts, which means they're being fake. So that means you kind of gonna think about your son being emperor anyway. You're gonna think about the possibilities. Not to say you're gonna try and plot your own brother's death, but he obviously thought that was a threat and said, "Yeah, see you later."
It's a bit techie, and it must be. Look, it's probably easy for us to sit here and think, if I had that sort of power, I'd be normal. But it's like, even if you start out normal, like the first time, like somebody tries to assassinate you in public, like you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, this shit's real."
It kind of does make sense in a way because look, he didn't want to kill the son because. If you kill the son, then he has got no heir. Someone else is going to take the throne. So it's better to have the son alive. He just don't want the mother there. Because if the mother's there, the mother can plot
against him.
And when she's gone, she can't plot.
And listen, look,
So
Romans think like Romans. Romans anticipate plots because that's what they would do. And that is what he did do to even get the throne in the first place. Yeah. So you kind of have to live your life like that if you're a Roman. Which is probably why a lot of them didn't live long. This story is quite disjointed. It doesn't flow. We are introduced to characters who are then swiftly killed off and plot lines that are swiftly abandoned. Barbo and the impending charges on his head for bedding a senator's wife was just a plot line that was discarded. He was just killed off screen. Agrippina and her baby, who were just discarded, exiled. Sejanus was set up as the villain and executed by the emperor, who was then executed by Caligula, who was then executed by his own guards. Not to mention, we've time skipped at least 2 or 3 years. It's difficult to keep track of where this book is meant to be taking us. We're over halfway through and we haven't even heard a single line of dialogue from anybody called Nero.
Yeah.
I like the aesthetic of ancient Rome. I like how authentically Roman it feels, but for the life of me, I have zero clue what the plot is.
Yeah.
Zero
It
clue.
felt Roman to me, but I
was enjoying it the whole way through.
I enjoyed it. It felt Roman, as you say, but we didn't. It could have been more. We didn't get like traditions. We didn't get like daily life. You know, we just got. It was like a collection of chapters that didn't really align. And
it felt like a documentary in book
2D.
form. It felt like a documentary in book form.
Yeah, but it
names,
wasn't.
dates, names, dates.
Yeah. I would say that. Yeah. You're right. So soon after, Emperor Gaius Caligulus was assassinated by his own Kingsguard. They came up behind him at dinner time and stabbed him up, Julio Caesar style.
Oh, listen, they said like the Caesar of old. Yeah, we got him, your ancestor.
As much as being emperor has its perks, I would not want that job. You have a target on your backside even before you get into power. Just for being in line, you got a target on you. So, you know, it's
insane. And it's like, as much as you roll with all these guards are the ones that did it. You know? So you're never safe, ever. Ever. Like, somebody could just put some poison in your food. That's it. Done. Like, for what they say emperors are easy to kill. Like, they pulled up to Tiberius when Caligula wanted to take power. They pulled up to Tiberius. He was literally like, take these blankets off of me, slave. I'm too hot or whatever. Yeah. And he didn't even realise this is done for you, buddy. So, I just don't, I really just don't want that heat. I definitely do not want that heat. And it's like, if you got somebody and be like, nowadays, it's like with the royal family that we've got, they seem like fairly chilled out. There's none of that like backstabbing kind of kill this person to take the throne. Because like, how long did Prince Charles wait to become king? You know, he was an heir for like 50 years.
Yeah.
So them times they're not waiting no 50 years.
I don't know enough about Roman emperors to know, but I think the ones that lived the longest seem to be off conquering, not sitting at home enjoying and being a tyrant.
Yeah,
because you got
definitely not being a tyrant. Because a tyrant is what alienates the people and makes them not love you. And if they don't love you, they want to replace you with someone they will love.
Even when Gaius got killed, his sister thought it was a trick. Didn't want to rejoice in case it was a trick. Because you can't be seen to be happy for the emperor dead. Because you get killed for that.
Literally, even when the Praetorian guards had to announce his death, and there was one Roman soldier was just like, so wait, where was you? Because you're the guards. And then he was like,
we don't talk about that.
Yeah, he was like, and he was literally like, so. And the funniest thing is, there's some cultures and some histories where if you're meant to protect the king or the emperor or the pharaoh or whatever, and you die, you will join him. So that is your incentive for making sure.
Egyptian pharaohs who've killed 100 slaves to go in to the pyramid to go with him to the afterlife. He literally said,
"You're buried with me. I need slaves in the afterlife. Yeah. How am I going to feed myself?" Like, obviously, ridiculous. Wife as well.
Yeah.
Wife too? You enjoy this
they never kill the sons though.
Yeah,
you got to stay here, son.
Yeah,
of course you do.
You already know.
Your turn. I've still got about 5, 6.
I've got 3 left.
Alright, let me do it then.
Yeah, come on.
Aquafina is a bitch.
Oh god.
I have immediately decided I don't like her.
Cold.
Her house was attacked by 3 assassins, and her husband, she married Icha.
Yes, Centurion Italus.
She remarried.
Third husband must be?
Second
husband.
Well, yeah, second husband. Her house was attacked by 3 assassins. Her husband jumped up out of his sleep, sprang into action, dispatched him with the first one. He commanded all the staff and the guards into action using his military experience. After the battle was done and he had restored peace, she was cold towards him. He hugged her and said, I'm so glad you're safe. And she didn't hug him back.
Beloved wife.
Yeah. She said, you had no right to command my slaves and my soldiers like that. He was like,
yeah, he said, what? And then, do you know what? Here's where I kind of rate him a little bit. He said, I have every right. I'm your husband.
Yeah.
What? He said, I'm your husband and master. I swear he said husband and master. He said that I have every right. But how can you talk to him like that after he's just saved your life and that of your household, that of your son? That's not his son, bearing in mind. Exactly. That you wouldn't let take his name.
Exactly.
Oh, how can you do that?
I said women get like that. As soon as they have a piece of land or they don't need you anymore, you know,
bro.
She would have never spoken to her Barbara like that.
Yeah, no, there's no chance. There's no chance.
She would have never. So when she had nothing, he looked after her, took her on. She got her money. She got her her
Her
wealth
estate, yeah, you
restored
got her estate.
back, then she wants to start acting brand new.
You done 100%. Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. It was a disgrace, and she deserved to die for that.
I definitely would have cut off
Awful.
that.
Yeah, I would have cut as well because it's like there's been too many. It's one thing after another because, like you said,
plus he got a child from the previous relationship.
Do you see what I'm saying? Roman custom was like, if you got a child from the previous relationship, that's cool, but he's taking my name.
Yeah.
I'm giving him new name.
Yeah.
Like I might give you new name. Do you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if I'm the, and then she was like, oh no, we're not doing that or whatever, and he stayed and had it, which didn't seem like any Roman men stayed and had it.
Well, he wasn't. He was a king's guard, so he was obviously something. But,
yeah, it was something, but it wasn't
she
exactly
was
high status.
She was
wealthy.
She was like
she's like wealthy. She's
she's
granddaughter
royalty.
of Augustus.
She's royalty.
A granddaughter of Augustus was the first Roman emperor, so she is.
Yeah.
She's probably a bit more than royalty. She's considered to literally be a deity or descended from deities.
Yeah.
So I understand it, but at the same time, like, come on, how can you talk to him like that after he's saved your life? And it seemed like he was chefing up all of doing his thing, you know,
dealt with them.
doing his thing. Agrippina has kind of revealed herself as the de facto main character of the book. She's moving like the kind of power behind the throne sort of character. She can't be in power herself because she's a woman, but she can manipulate the powerful men around her. Italus, the centurion, Caligula, her brother, Claudius, her uncle, became emperor, now her son. I think the book should be called Agrippina instead.
Yeah, of course.
Because she obviously was the main character of the book. We didn't actually ever see Nero. We saw Nero, but he wasn't called Nero, so it didn't matter. It was just all about her and her rise to power and her kind of paving the way for her son, and it was just made no sense for it to be called Nero. And that was one of many things that were many logistical problems that the book had. Execution wise, I didn't have a problem with it execution wise, but it's just like, what are we reading? I just was never sure what we was reading.
So Agrippina believes that it's the emperor's wife, because the emperor obviously replaced his wife. No, this is a new emperor now.
Yes, Claudius, her uncle, the old uncle.
Yeah. So he's got a wife, and she believes that the emperor's wife, I can't remember the name, Messalina sent the assassins for her son. Her son Lucia is not the heir because the emperor has a newborn son, but Lucia's son. So Lucia. That's the son. Lucius is quite a bit older than their son. So it seems like the wife sent the attack as a precaution. So you see what I'm saying about being in line? This line thing is not worth it.
It's not even like you want it like that. But they're saying just you being alive, just you being there is a fact.
But a bit of backstory about Messalina, the emperor's wife, the now emperor's wife, used to get done in by the old emperor.
Yeah.
So their son might not be their son.
Yeah.
So that's like, why she sent...
Claudius seemed like he was a bit of a... I don't want to say pushover, but he was a bit of a pushover.
No, he was, because he wasn't cruel. He didn't do anything.
He wasn't cruel. He was Tommen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he was like...
Oh, Tommen.
Tommen from Game of Thrones. It's like...
he was interested in other things.
He was interested in other things. And it's like, to do this job, to be the kind of guy that you need to be, you don't have to be a tyrant, but you do have to have edge. You do need to execute a few people once in a while. You have to execute a few people once in a while, because that's the Romans' language that they speak. They speak through strength, they speak through power.
Well, it's the age-old, would you rather be loved or feared?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the successful Roman emperors were probably ones that did both, but they definitely... they were all feared. Yeah, the successful ones were all feared. You know, the successful ones might not have all been loved, but they were all feared.
You can be liked and feared.
Yeah.
But you need the fear, because fear is a consequence. If you just love someone, you don't fear them, you will turn on them when it's necessary. When it suits you. But 100%. If you fear them, you know there's consequences. Something's going to happen to you.
100%. Which is why God-fearing is such a used term in religion. It's not necessarily to mean bad. You're scared of God because he's bad or whatever, but you fear God because there are big consequences. The ultimate consequence, in fact, not even death. The ultimate consequence is burning in hell, obviously, for rebelling against God. So,
yeah.
We finally, this is my last one, by the way, we finally get the name Nero. Finally. After the death of Emperor Claudius, his wife, Claudius takes his niece as his wife, which we will not be judgmental of, since it's in ancient Rome. Agrippina says to her son Lucius that if he became emperor, as was the Roman custom, she would rename him after her late brother, Nero. And that's the end of the book.
Yeah.
It ends there.
We don't even get a single hint of Nero. It was all a scam. It was clickbait. And we've tricked you guys too.
We've tricked you, literally. You've all been hoodwinked. You've all been taken in. We decided we had to sit through this. So, bear in mind, we read the book. You only had to sit through this BS video that we just did. But honestly, what kind of bullshit ending was that? What kind of... You know what it was? Because you told me the ending ruined it before I got to the ending. When I got to the ending, I said, oh... Do you know what it was? Because the book was really... It was slowing down its bad for a while before the ending. But the ending sealed. It wasn't the nails in the coffin.
Yeah, no, I think it was the whole ending section of the book.
Yeah, it really wasn't more than just the last pages.
I'll get to it. But basically, I said Aquafina. It's not Aquafina. Agrippina.
It's because you listened in like 1 million Quicksilver speed or whatever. You don't know any of the names.
I don't know whether to hate this bitch or love her. She preemptively poisoned her husband.
Oh yeah,
just in case.
Jesus Christ.
The same husband that looked after her, that took her on. She poisoned him just because he might want to take her wealth in the future.
Can't have that.
He might want to. Not that he does. He might want to. So I'm going to poison you.
Insane. And then she sat next to his dying body as he was.
Yeah.
I started talking shit to him as well. I said, listen. Why have you seen that book? Why Women Deserve Less?
Yeah, I've read that book. I've read it.
Listen,
no, I haven't. No, I don't like them lot.
Women deserve more. But nah, honestly, that is a horrendous thing to do to somebody, and it is the most Roman thing I've ever heard in my life. She fully embraced the culture. She actually played the Game of Thrones.
She literally played the Game of Thrones. She did. And we can, you know what? We can't say Claudius.
What old?
We can't say he wasn't 100% good because he did have his wife executed.
He did have his wife executed.
And when assassins came for his wife, when his assassins came,
maybe I wouldn't,
because they didn't believe in divorce and all of that.
Yeah,
that's what it was. But the assassins came for the wife, and they said to her, "Look, if you need to pray, then hurry up. But you're done." You know, she was trying to say, "Oh, please, I'll pay you money." He said, "Look, I don't want to get messy. We can do it the easy way. If you need to pray, hurry up. But you're done."
Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
That's not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
You want to hear there's a deal.
The whole point of being assassinated by a human is that there's some mode of communication. You know, if a dog's after you, you're done. The line's after you, you're. But if you, please.
And the funniest thing is, the whole point of being rich is that you can pay people off to do what you want. These man literally said, listen,
love, you're done. Listen,
it's over. Just don't run. We're tired. We'd rather kill you quickly.
We can make this messy.
Yeah, that's not what you want to hear. So you got to go swing it in that sentence. You got to start swinging it straight away. May as well. Innit?
He said we can make this slow, or we can make it quick. Do you want it slow? Exactly.
The way they have to make it slow.
Listen, if you punch one of them, even if you just punch one of them in their face, they're making it slow.
Yeah, no, it's long.
Yeah, it's not worth it. I must say I'm disappointed with the level of brutality. This is ancient Rome after all, and this book is solely plot driven. See, as it was plot driven.
Yeah.
I'd say Agrippina's story has gone off the rails a bit. She's following the emperor around Britain for literally no reason at all. It's simply quite boring now. The battle at the end of the book ruined it for me. It was so impersonal. We didn't care about the battle. They just randomly introduced the Brits' point of view. Apart from that, the book was quite interesting. Agrippina was quite a very clever woman and a conniving, wicked woman, in fact. I can't say the book was worth reading. We didn't really learn much from a historical standpoint. We didn't learn about intricate Roman traditions. And the name of the book was a terrible one.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the name Agrippina? Literally. I mean, I did honestly choose to read this book because of the name. I thought it was going to be about Emperor Nero, but it wasn't.
Emperor Nero as well. It wasn't nothing to do with him, like nothing at all whatsoever.
At all. I mean, he did a bit of chariot racing. He did a bit of chariot.
Oh yeah, that's true. But no.
But yeah, I thought the book was alright. It was good. I enjoyed it.
I definitely enjoyed it.
But this is what happens. People ask me, you know, you've read 10 books this month. What's the best book? And I'll be like, you can ask me my favourite. You can ask me what's a good book. You can ask me what's the best book.
I definitely wouldn't say Nero is the best book.
No, of course it's not the best book. But the point I'm trying to say is the book wasn't that good, but I enjoyed it. So these two things, not conflict, but they're different. They're different. That's the point I was trying to make. But yeah, we've got some interesting books to read next week. We've got a horror.
Oh yeah, so we're doing that one.
I've never read a horror book before.
I've barely watched horror movies.
I've barely watched horror movies. So how scary can a horror book really be?
I want to be wetting myself. If I'm not wetting myself, 0 out of 10.
I want to be shitting myself.
Literally. I want to be loading up my trousers. Or 0 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. You got one job.
Yeah, no,
one job.
One job.
You don't even have to be good. You just have to scare me.
Just scare me, 100%. I want to be reading like, looking around. You know, you think you see faces in like the furniture.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be that level of paranoid.
Exactly.
I may come to regret these words.
How
if he's
hard
actually
can
good
it be to scare someone? I mean, you probably do it all the time with that mug.
And on that bombshell, guys.
Exactly. But yeah, we don't have a quote today, do we? It's what it is. It's not that deep.
Yeah, nah. That is what it is. It's a pretty good quote in and of itself on that bombshell.
Bang.
Rap.
No, what do you British people say? Bosh.
Must have you British people, you know.
Till next time.